This weeknight taco salad is where it's at. You get all the delicious flavors. You make a meat mixture with beans and tomatoes, a quick red dressing, which just makes my Midwestern heart happy. It's all right here in a bowl, and I think you're gonna love it. We would always have taco salad growing up, especially during the summer when we were all working outside late on the farm. Dad would be working out, Mom would be working in the garden, my sister and I would be outside, and a lot of times we'd come in because taco salad can be put together pretty quickly. It's ingredients you might have on hand. As summer is coming up, spring is coming up, you might even have lettuce coming in from the garden. So I'm gonna start with the meat base, or the meat mixture that we're gonna use that really is gonna have flavor and just a lot of great qualities to it and a lot of great ingredients. So we're gonna start with ground beef. I love to use a good quality ground beef, and I'm gonna put it right into here. And I'm going to just, as it's slowly browning, I just wanna chop it up. I just wanna make sure it's broken up. Now, while it's browning though, I like to actually cook the onion with it. I just think that's a great thing because it softens the onion, it adds the flavor without the harshness, and I just think it's super easy. So I'm gonna take some onion here, and I just wanna give it some nice dice. This to me is what Mom always did. I just find that certain weeknight meals, what are they at their heart? They're just easy. They're easy, homey meals that a lot of people can love, and I think what makes a good weeknight meal too is one that can be customized. And guess what? Taco salad, it can be customized because even when we were little, my sister and I could make it our own. I was never the picky eater. My sister Kelsey, she was the picky eater and she knows it. And she wouldn't like all the other things. So you can kind of build your own and go from there. So I'm putting the onion right in. And what I'm gonna do is let that brown with the meat. So I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna let it really cook with the meat. And as the meat cooks, it browns, yes, but it also starts drawing out some of its juices, which that's exactly what you want. So we're gonna let this brown slightly, and then we're gonna add seasonings. We're gonna add so much flavor, you'll be good. You can see the meat has really browned. It just takes a few minutes. I use around a 92% beef, so it has lower amount of fat. And so I keep most of that liquid in there because I think it adds a lot of good flavor. If you're using more of like an 85%, you might want to drain off some of that extra liquid and fat. But I like to add the spices now we're gonna add directly to that fat because it enhances flavor, it carries flavor, and I think it just does the most for it. So I'm gonna start with just a chili powder. I like chili powder because one, we usually have it in our pantries, and it adds kind of that mixture of spices. It has some cumin, has some chili, usually just has a few, oregano, maybe garlic, and it instantly smells kind of like a taco meat mixture. But I'm also gonna enhance the cumin with some more. I think you get that earthy kind of warm spiced flavor, which is good. If you can find it, I love to use some Mexican oregano. Completely different than the oreganos we're used to, and it adds so much delicious flavor. I use that in my chilies too, like soup. Oh, so good. And then some salt. You need the salt because that's gonna carry all these flavors. It's gonna really kind of bring everything out, make it pop. And I just wanna stir those spices in to make sure they really hit that hot oil that's in there from the meat, because that really makes them bloom and open up and instantly. Oh guys, this smells so good. And so I'm just gonna mix it, and it really smells kind of like those classic ground beef tacos, that mixture. So to this, it's already cooked, so I can just know we can move on. I'm gonna add some tomatoes. Now I actually use diced tomatoes, and I always use fire roasted. That's just because, do you see all those specks of black on there? That's fire roasted tomato, meaning it has more flavor. So you're instantly adding more flavor to it. I'm gonna also add some kidney beans. So growing up, we would use chili beans that were in the can. I don't really love that sauce that's on them, so we're kind of making our own here. And when they mix with the meat and the spices and the tomatoes, it's just a great medley. So I'm stirring this all together. We're gonna turn it down to a simmer and really just let the tomatoes cook, the beans really take on the flavors, and then we'll make the dressing. Oh yeah, it's a quick dressing. So for the dressing, while the meat's simmering, we can just get it ready. Now, I grew up, if you are a Midwestern, I think you're gonna get this, with a red dressing usually used on taco salad. Now, of course, you can just use your salsas or whatever else you like, but that red dressing, maybe a French style dressing, is what I was used to. So this is a homemade version, which if I'm gonna make a dressing, I'm gonna make it homemade. That's just what I'm gonna do. And it starts with ketchup. Now, I always use a sugar-free ketchup. You can find it now at any grocery store because you don't need the added sugar to ketchup, especially with everything else we're doing. So to me, it just is a great way, and it's a great base, and that's what makes it red. So to that, we're gonna add some interesting ingredients, but it makes a good dressing. We're gonna add some Worcestershire sauce. Now, what that does, you know what it does. It adds that underlying interesting flavor that really just amps it up. It's that umami, that rich interesting thing that you don't know is in there, but you're like, wow, this is good. It's usually that. We're gonna also add just a little bit of honey, just because we wanna balance out some of these flavors. So it doesn't take a lot, just a couple teaspoons, but it really does kind of work to balance everything out. And then some red wine vinegar. And to me, when you do the red wine vinegar, again, you're adding that acidity. So you're adding that pop of just interesting brightness. And the red wine part has, to me, more of a depth to it too, which is what's important. So I'm gonna put that right in there. Then we can talk a little bit more about the spices. So we're gonna add chipotle powder. Now, if you're adverse to spice, add paprika, that would be more traditional, or even a smoked paprika, which that's gonna give you that smoky flavor that chipotle powder will, but without the spice. So we're gonna put that right in there, which to me is just like, that's good. And you can't go wrong with that. And I don't wanna get that in my other one, so I'm gonna measure these in my hand, but we're gonna do some garlic powder. Garlic powder, you know I love, especially in things like dressings, because it mixes in so well. Some onion powder. And again, these are just like those dressing flavors that really are inherent. We're gonna put that right in there. We're gonna also add in some salt. You need a little bit of salt, you just do. And then some oil. Now, I like an oil that doesn't have a strong flavor. So it could be a canola, it could be a vegetable. I, a lot of times, will use an avocado oil, which has a slight flavor, but it's what I keep around and it's what I really like. I think it has a lot of good flavor to it. So I'm gonna put that right in there. And then I'm just using a dressing shaker. If you don't have one, use a small jar, like a jam jar, even a used one, just save it, that has a good seal, and something you can just shake. That's all you wanna do. Now, anytime I make a dressing, don't ever just trust it. Don't ever just assume it's done. If you don't like tasting it by itself, take some lettuce, whatever you think you need. Just have a little bit come out, because we want to know, is the seasoning correct? Because you know what? It's good. Needs a bit more salt. So I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. Ooh, we get the spice now from the chipotle. I like that. So I'm gonna let this sit here. The meat's gonna finish simmering. I'm gonna chop some lettuce, get some toppings ready, and we're gonna put these together. You can see the meat mixture, most of the liquid has really absorbed. And what's fun about this could be used for tacos too, but it's great on the salad. And I love to keep it in the fridge because you will find different uses, whether you wanna make a wrap with it. Throughout the week, you can do so many things, and that's what weeknight meals can all be about. Now, what I really stress about this, it's assembly line. You can really make your own, kids can make their own, friends can make their own. Think of the party you could have, get a pitcher of margaritas. That's what I'll come for if you make those. I'll be there. So I start with lettuce, however you like it, however you want it. And then you can really just top your own. So I'm gonna do some of the meat, of course. And this is like the fun part, because look, you already have the beans in the meat. You have some tomatoes in the meat, and that to me is what's important, to have all those components. So it makes it quicker and it makes it delicious. We have the dressing. A little bit of like a red dressing. If it sounds surprising to you, just try it, because I think you'll be surprised. And then on top, it's whatever you want. I'm always gonna put a few chips with it. I like to crush them. I do, I like that crunch and I want that, so I like to crush them. You can do guacamole. This is my tropical guacamole. I know, sacrilegious, but it's good. I had a reel up on it, one of my favorites. But I also do my home canned salsa. You've probably seen the video on that, or the surprise hit that everyone loved is my home canned hot pepper mustard. It sounds weird, but let me tell you something. It has spice, and my goodness, does it go with these things. And a little bit, just a little bit of salsa. You have to have salsa. And then you can eat. That's the best part. This is what I love, and honestly, there's nothing to me more reminiscent of growing up and coming in on a summer evening, getting this. It's good. It makes me happy, and that's what it's all about. You get the fresh crunch of the lettuce. I'm just using a romaine because I like the crunchy, strong, just like sturdy lettuce. That meat is delicious. It's well spiced. It has lots of flavor. It has the beans, which are creamy. The tomatoes, which both of those were canned, so that makes it really quick. Then you get the crunch of the chips or whatever toppings you love on it. That dressing is nice. It adds something kind of like that sweet, a little bit salty, well balanced. It's good. This whole meal is what I love. It's what I crave, because I love toppings and I love sauces and I love anything that can be built onto. That's what this is. So what do I hope you do with this? I hope you share it around, because guess what? When you share these around, everyone can see that putting food on the table, it can be pretty easy. If I can do it, and I'm in Iowa on a farm, anyone can do it. And it's all about feeding people and making them happy with some good, nutritious food. So check my website, wiseguide.com, for this recipe. All my other recipes, they're all on there. And until next time, put some good food on the table and enjoy it.